At 60, Shania Twain finally tells the truth about Ricky Nelson. Shania Twain was born Eileen Regina Edwards on August 28, 1965, in the small mining town of Windsor, Ontario, and raised in the rugged landscape of Timmins. She emerged from a life of hardship to become one of the most influential and best-selling female artists in country music history. Her story is not simply one of talent. It is a remarkable testament to resilience, determination, and an inner fire that refused to be extinguished, no matter how severe the obstacles placed before her. Growing up in poverty, she often went hungry, wore hand-me-down clothes, and learned from a young age that survival depended on grit, resourcefulness, and the ability to find solace in creativity. Music became that refuge. Even as a child, she sensed a deep, intuitive connection to melody and storytelling, singing in local clubs and bars long before she was old enough to legally enter them, all to help support her struggling family. Shania's early years were turbulent, marked by domestic instability and emotional challenges. But through it all, she maintained an unwavering belief that her voice could one day carry her beyond the limitations of her environment. After the tragic loss of her parents in a car accident when she was just 21, she suddenly became the guardian of her younger siblings. Instead of pursuing stardom immediately, she put her dreams on hold and took a job singing at the Deerhurst Resort in Ontario to provide stability for her family. This period showcased not only her vocal skill, but her immense personal strength, the ability to sacrifice her own ambitions to protect the people she loved. Her big break came when she signed with Mercury Records in the early 1990s, adopting the stage name Shania, meaning "on my way" in Ojibwe, a fitting symbol of her future trajectory. Her debut album, while modest in commercial performance, caught the attention of producer Robert John "Mutt" Lang, who recognized her extraordinary talent. Their creative partnership and eventual marriage ignited a musical revolution. Together they crafted the groundbreaking album The Woman in Me, 1995, which fused pop, rock, and country into a bold new sound that redefined the genre. Hits like Any Man of Mine, Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under, and You Win My Love transformed Shania into a rising force in Nashville and beyond. But it was Come On Over, 1997, that changed everything. The album became a cultural phenomenon, ultimately becoming the best-selling studio album by a female artist in any genre and one of the highest-selling albums of all time. With chart-topping singles like Man, I Feel Like a Woman, You're Still the One, and From This Moment On, Shania not only dominated the charts, but also shattered stereotypes about what country music could look and sound like. Her music videos became iconic, her fashion sense bold and trend-setting, and her voice a symbol of empowerment for millions worldwide. She built an artistic identity around confidence, independence, and authenticity, messages that resonated with listeners far beyond country music's traditional borders. Even at the height of her fame, challenges continued to follow her. Her marriage collapsed after a deeply painful scandal, and she was diagnosed with dysphonia and Lyme disease, which severely damaged her vocal cords and nearly ended her singing career. For years, she struggled not only with the physical limitations, but with the emotional trauma of suddenly losing the ability that defined her life. Yet once again, Shania's spirit proved unbreakable. Through vocal therapy, determination, and sheer willpower, she slowly rebuilt her voice and her confidence. When she returned with the album Now, 2017, it marked not just a musical comeback, but a personal triumph, a reminder that even the most extraordinary talents are shaped by adversity. In recent years, Shania has continued to reinvent herself with Las Vegas residencies, new music, documentaries, and public appearances that celebrate both her legacy and her ongoing evolution as an artist. Her warmth, humor, and humility have endeared her to new generations of fans. She remains a pioneer who expanded the boundaries of country pop, a trailblazer who took creative risks when the industry doubted her, and a survivor whose story inspires anyone who has ever had to start again after losing everything. Shania Twain's personal and romantic life took a dramatic turn in the early 1990s, beginning with one of the most pivotal encounters of her career. After the release of her self-titled debut album, although the record itself did not yet showcase her songwriting power, producer Robert John "Mutt" Lange, already a legendary figure in rock and country rock due to his work with AC/DC, Def Leppard, and Bryan Adams, heard her voice and was immediately struck by its warmth, strength, and clarity. Lange reached out after hearing her original songs, impressed by both her vocal ability and her potential as a songwriter. What began as a professional inquiry quickly evolved into months of long-distance phone conversations. They spent countless hours discussing music, lyrical concepts, personal backgrounds, and dreams for the future. During these intimate and creatively charged conversations, a bond formed, one rooted in artistic chemistry but soon growing into something deeply personal. After speaking only by phone for several months, Twain and Lange finally met face-to-face at Nashville's Fan Fair in June 1993, a major country music festival that brings artists and fans together. Their meeting confirmed what their conversations had already hinted at, an immediate connection and mutual admiration. Their relationship moved swiftly, reflecting the intensity of both their creative partnership and their emotional bond. On December 28, 1993, they married, beginning not only a new chapter in Twain's personal life, but also in her career. Together, they would create some of the best-selling country pop albums of all time, including The Woman in Me and Come On Over. Their son, Aja, pronounced Asia, was born on August 12, 2001. The arrival of their child brought joy during a period when Twain was already a global superstar, and motherhood became one of the most cherished roles in her life. Despite their public success and seemingly solid marriage, behind the scenes, strains began to develop. On May 15, 2008, the world was shocked by the announcement that Twain and Lange were separating. The reason? Lange's affair with Marianne Thibault, Shania's close friend and personal assistant, deeply devastated Twain. The betrayal had come from not only her husband, but also the person she had trusted most within her inner circle. Twain later spoke openly about the emotional pain, feelings of abandonment, and sense of loss that followed. Their divorce was finalized on June 9, 2010, formally ending one of the most famous, creative, and romantic partnerships in modern music history. Yet from heartbreak came an unexpected and healing turn. Marianne's former husband, Swiss Nestlé executive Frédéric Thibault, had experienced a parallel betrayal, and in their shared grief, he and Twain found comfort, understanding, and eventually love. On December 20th, 2010, it was reported that Twain and Frédéric were engaged. Their relationship symbolized resilience, a triumph over personal tragedy, and fans admired Twain for her openness about the emotional journey that led her to love again. The couple married on January 1st, 2011, choosing a romantic ceremony in Rincon, Puerto Rico, marking a hopeful new beginning for the singer. Beyond her personal relationships, Twain has also been known for her lifestyle choices and spiritual interests. She is a dedicated vegetarian, a decision she attributes to both health and ethical reasons, choices consistent with her deep appreciation for nature and animals, shaped by her early years growing up in rural Canada. She is also a devotee of Saint Mat, an Eastern spiritual philosophy centered on meditation, inner peace, and moral living. Twain has often credited these practices with helping her maintain balance through the intense highs and lows of fame, illness, and personal relationships. In 2010, driven by compassion and her own challenging childhood, Twain founded Shania Kids Can, a charitable organization created to support children who face significant hardships, including poverty, emotional neglect, and unstable home environments. Recognizing that many children in need fall through the cracks of traditional social assistance systems, Twain designed the program to provide safe spaces, academic help, emotional support, and confidence-building opportunities for vulnerable youth, reflecting her lifelong desire to give back and make a meaningful difference. Her autobiography, From This Moment On, published on March 27, 2011, offered readers an honest, compelling look into her life. In it, Twain detailed her traumatic childhood, her rise to global stardom, her marriage and painful divorce, her health struggles, including a debilitating battle with Lyme disease that temporarily damaged her voice, and her rediscovery of purpose and love. The book became a bestseller and resonated deeply with fans who saw Twain not just as a superstar, but as a survivor. At 60, Shania Twain is more reflective, more open, and more willing than ever to talk candidly about the moments and influences that shaped her extraordinary life. In a recent interview, she surprised fans by finally revealing the full truth about her long-held admiration for the late Ricky Nelson, an admiration that had quietly shaped her musical instincts since childhood. "I was just a little girl in Timmins, sitting cross-legged on the living room floor, staring at our tiny television," Twain recalled. "And every time Ricky Nelson came on, something in me lit up. His voice had this smoothness that felt like velvet, and his presence was magnetic. I didn't understand it then, but he was one of the first artists who made me think, I want to do that. I want to make people feel the way he makes me feel." Twain explained that Nelson wasn't simply a celebrity crush or a passing childhood phase. He was one of her earliest and most formative musical inspirations. Growing up in poverty, living through hardship, and helping raise her siblings after her parents were killed in a car accident, she clung to music as a source of comfort and escape. "When you're young and going through things that feel far too heavy, you hold on to anything that gives you light," she said. "Ricky Nelson's music did that for me. His songs were like a warm hand reaching out, reminding me that the world could still be beautiful." But Twain also revealed that her connection to Nelson's artistry deepened as she matured as a singer-songwriter. She began to appreciate his ability to blend genres, country, rockabilly, pop, into a sound that felt effortless, but was actually groundbreaking. "He was bold in such a quiet way," she said. "He didn't shout about being a trailblazer, but he was. He made crossing genres feel natural, and I think that influenced me more than I ever realized. When I later blended country with pop and rock, I think I was channeling a piece of what I learned from him." Twain said that for years, she kept this connection private, partly out of humility, and partly because her own career exploded so quickly. But as she reached 60, a milestone she described as liberating, she felt compelled to acknowledge the artists who helped guide her. "You get to a certain point in life where honesty feels like a gift you give yourself," she said. "I've spent so much of my life telling my story in pieces, and this is a piece I've never really shared. Ricky Nelson deserves that recognition from me." She even admitted that during moments of self-doubt, including the darkest years when Lyme disease nearly stole her voice, Nelson's music resurfaced in her life as a reminder of why she fought so hard to return. "When I thought I might never sing again, I went back to the very beginning, to the voices that first inspired me. Hearing Ricky again brought me comfort. It reminded me of the girl who believed in music with her whole heart." Twain emphasized that while she never met Nelson, he died tragically in 1985, his legacy lives inside her artistic DNA. And as she looks ahead to new music, new tours, and new chapters, she carries his influence with gratitude. "I owe him more than I can ever say," she admitted. "He helped shape my musical compass long before I even knew I had one. And at 60, I'm finally ready to say it out loud. The truth, as Twain tells it, is simple. Ricky Nelson helped kindle the fire that would one day make her the best-selling female country artist in history. And now, with age granting her perspective and peace, she is giving credit where it has always quietly belonged. In finally sharing these reflections, Twain doesn't just pay tribute to a music icon, she reveals a part of her own story that remained quietly tucked away for years, proving that influences from childhood can echo throughout a lifetime, guiding, comforting, and inspiring in ways we often only recognize once we've lived long enough to look back with clear, honest eyes.